From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling the same. And boy, oh boy, let's go ahead and jump into it. The holidays are among us, and we have our rankings ready. It's week 5 of the CFP rankings as well, too. We have some new storylines, some new sizzle to the theater. And right now, Washington has jumped Florida State for the number 4 spot. Georgia still remains number 1. Ohio State's number 2. Michigan is number 3 at this point. And then you do have Oregon, who's still looming in the background of this situation as well, too. They are, I'm going to go ahead and get the right accurate numbers, but we do have a brand new top 4. Georgia, as I keep saying, Georgia has no reason of being outside of number 1. It just doesn't matter. This team is the back-to-back national champions. It's utter disrespect to me when you keep putting them, even thinking about putting them in the number 2 spot. They are the number 1 team in the nation. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. That's who the number 1 team is. Now, they do have an easy game coming up this week against Georgia Tech, but really is it an easy game? Georgia Tech has a NFL-type quarterback, so this will be a game that's going to be very, very challenging for Georgia because this is the game before the SEC championship as well, too. And Georgia Tech has already had a fun upset against Miami earlier this year. We know Georgia's no Miami, but still, it's a rivalry game. This team has won their last 3 out of 5. They had a good win against Syracuse last week as well, too. They were also able to have a great win against UNC, who was a ranked team at that time as well, too. They also got a very good win, as I said before, against Miami in the closing minutes. And then, Virginia was a team that was kind of balling out when they got to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech beat them 45-17. So this team is playing confident right now, but that doesn't mean anything going into the game. They're going to have to step it up. It's going to have to be a huge effort from this squad for them to really pull this one off. Now, when it comes down to the Ohio State, Michigan State, they're going to square this situation out, and somebody's going to be jumping back into the top 4. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. They're not going to let 2 Pac-12 teams in there. So Florida State is going to be playing Florida this weekend. That's probably going to wind up being somewhat of a very, very close game for them. I will say this. If we have the scenario to where, okay, I'm just going to give you guys this scenario. If we have Florida State lose to Florida, and then you say you have Washington lose to Washington State, what's going to happen is this. They're going to go ahead and they're going to jump. They're going to have, if Texas goes ahead and wins their game this weekend, they'll jump everybody and they'll be back in the top 4. Alabama wins their game this weekend, they'll possibly be back in the top 4 too, but they're going to need 2 losses in my opinion. So Texas and Alabama probably have their best opportunity of jumping into the Final 4 this weekend with wins. Missouri is a team that's just there for pageantry. Louisville is there for pageantry as well, too. Penn State, they have 2 losses, but they're 2 very significant losses because it's Ohio State and Michigan. Then you have Ole Miss. They have 2 significant losses as well, too, being Georgia and Alabama. So they are kind of on the outside looking in, but they're probably a good candidate for the New Year's Eve 6 bowls again. Also, you have Oklahoma, who's actually been kind of shafted a little bit, but they lost 2 in a row. They're at 13 right now. Then you have LSU, who's now number 14, and that's what makes it kind of funny to me that they let Washington jump over Florida State, but I totally understand because Florida State was going to get jumped regardless because they played against a FCS school this weekend. Arizona is a very surprising story. They find themselves 8-3 on the season and number 15 in the nation, just ahead of Oregon State, who's number 16 in the nation. Then you have Iowa, who's 9-2 on the year, number 17, leaders of the West side of the Big Ten as well too. You have Notre Dame, who's 8-3 at number 18. You have Kansas State, who's number 19 at 8-3. Then you have Oklahoma State, who's kind of slipping up here at the end of the season. They're now number 20, 8-3 on the season. And then you have Tennessee, who's really got the bad brunt of it. They have a losing record in the conference as well too, but they're still number 21 in the nation as well. They got some pretty good wins on the resume as well too. Then you have NC State, who's 8-3 on the year, and then Tulane with their sole loss to Mississippi Ole Miss. It has not pretty much moved them up out of the range that they're in. They've been sitting in the 20s and 20s and 22s and 23s all season. Clemson finds themselves back in the top 25, number 24 in the nation at this point. And then you have Liberty sneaking in for the first time this year at number 25, and they have an 11-0 record, 7-0. But you got to remember they play in the Conference USA as well too. That's not the best conference to really get your brag on about, because most of those teams are very middling at best or mediocre. So pretty much with that, it looks like we have another week of some good theater going on. It's rivalry week this week. A lot of teams are going to really be, it's going to be that time of the year where upsets are plenty. And I think that, Oregon's on upset alert right now. Washington's on upset alert right now. Florida State's definitely on upset alert right now. And you know what? Michigan and Ohio State will settle a lot of things when we get down to it. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic, and that's going to be this. This is going to be the CBB game of the day. We got the Purdue, number 2 in the nation, 5-0, going against Marquette, number 4 in the nation. Plus 3.5 spread for Marquette today. They are the doggy dog, and then you have the over under of 141.5. And this game looks to me like it's going to be one of those games that really does come down to who wants it more in the end. And I think that Marquette is that team. Marquette has played great basketball. They really did have a tough run here. They had to go ahead and play UCLA. UCLA had them down 12 points in the second half. They were able to work their way back into that game, and they were able to win that game on a last-second heave-ho that did not fall for UCLA. UCLA could have, if they would have hit that open layup, it could have went to overtime. But regardless of anything, Marquette stepped it up at the time that they needed to step it up. They looked really good when it was time to come back in a game. And so that was the first test that they got down. Then the next night, they're in a game that seemed kind of hopeless when you look at it on paper, because Kansas is just such a great team this year. They're the number 1 team in the nation. They have some of the best players in the nation as well too, and they seem like they're a machine, right? Well, last night didn't matter. Marquette didn't get the memo. They went ahead and jumped out on them, had a 10-point lead at the half, did not look back, won the game by 14 points. So they proved a great point last night. It looks like that these Big East teams are ready for these power matchups that are here for the non-conference. So, you got to watch out, man. These top Big East teams are always bringing it, and they bring a physical style of play, and it showed up last night. But Shaka Smart and his press defense is something of amazement now with this Marquette squad. We know that this can be the reason for this team to either be really great or be really bad. We know there is really no thin line between the Marquette Golden Eagles at this point, but they're a team that you have to take very seriously this year. They're number 4 for a reason. Last year, they did have their tournament run kind of upended a bit, but you know what? That happens because the tournament was a great tournament last year that had provided so many great teams that did so well last year and had remarkable moments for their school. Marquette got the memo. They know they had to be much more mentally stronger this year, and that's what they're looking like. And they have the talent. This might be one of the more talented Marquette teams I've seen since Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener and Steve Novak. So this is a good group here, and they got some good things going on. And you know what? UConn, you got company here. Marquette is going to be a team that's going to play into the grand scheme of things in the Big East, which I see having about 6 squads that are going to be really, really good this year. So with that, we move forward, and I'm taking Marquette with the plus 140 tonight on the money line for that game. So let's go ahead and move forward and get into our next, and let's talk some boxing. We got Jermall Charlo returns Saturday night after almost 2 years out of the ring. And you know what? This is a good moment for him because he's been going through a lot, and that's life, man. You get down to the crossroads of your career and things like that. He's still an undefeated boxer, but fame and money and all that stuff can really, really poison people. And you know what? It usually poisons the people around you. The person that provides the money, the person that provides the fame, all that stuff, they're just a person. They're trying to get through their daily life and still be normal. You know what I mean? And then you have the people that are around you who want to be extravagant. They want to be flamboyant. They want to be the star of the show, but they did nothing to get to the star money of to the star access of the show. They're a hanger oner. They're hanging out. And you know what? Sometimes it's hard to just tell these people no. Sometimes it's hard to just get these people out the room. I don't know what his exact situation is. Well, I kind of do have an idea what his situation is, I've been told, but I'm not going to put this man on blast because it's not my business to be telling. So pretty much Jermall Charlo is a guy that, I just worry about what he does in the ring. And what he's done in the ring has been some amazing things. He's been able to knock guys out in convincing fashion. He's been able to hold guys off in fights that people felt that he had a little bit of pressure on him. But you know what? I've never really seen Charlo have that off of a night. And you know what? Him taking almost 2 years off was the right thing to do because he was going through it. He was going through a lot of things. He got hurt as well, too. So right now you got a healthy Charlo. I don't know how mentally healthy he is, but you have a physically healthy Charlo coming into this fight. He's still the WBC middleweight champion, still pretty much the star of the middleweight division as well, too. The cash cow, the top guy. And that's why everybody wants a piece. That's why everybody wants to get, some type of matchup with him as we move along. But we know that this possibly sets up the next fight for Charlo with a fight that he's been asking for the last decade, and that's with Canelo. And I know a lot of people will have their, oh man, no, we let the other brother fight him. Well, look, this is the undefeated brother. This was the brother that was the mandated challenger for Canelo for years. This is the brother that had always called him out, the brother that said that he could kick his ass, and the brother that really has never really had the same type of respect the other brother had for Canelo. This does build up a great fight between these two. It doesn't matter what people say. And you know what? Jose Benavidez Jr. was a great fighter about a decade ago. He was a great prospect. He was a guy that could have been one of the greatest world champions ever if he didn't get shot. And then he sits up there and he gets a fight with Bud Crawford to try to make things right. There was a lot of hype going into the fight. A lot of people felt Benavidez could win the fight. They thought it was going to be a rocky moment. And what happened was he got knocked out in the 12th round. It's that simple. So pretty much you have a guy that's bitter and feels that his spot has been taken somewhat by his brother. Let's keep it real. There's a little bit of brotherly jealousy there, but it doesn't come out in the forefront. But you can easily tell, and it's a love thing. It's not like he's going to come back out and say, F David and da 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 da. But he's a little hurt. You know what I mean? He feels that he should be the one, but he supports his brother, who's the main event, the big dog. But we'll get there in a second. But you know what? He has a chance to go ahead and really have a coming of age moment and show everybody that, his leg injury is not holding him up from winning fights. You know what I mean? But I truly do think that the guy goes into these fights too angry, too mad, too bitter, and too ready to like mess the whole fight up. And that means like trying to fight at pressers and fighting at the weigh-in and all this stuff and having all this extra stuff to say and not being able to speak without cussing. That's really not a very, very fun situation for anybody to have to really sit there through. So pretty much, hopefully Saturday night, these guys get everything off their chest, especially Jose, since he feels that, he's been overlooked and he's not being taken as seriously as he should or as he feels. And you know what? You hope to see that Jermall Charlo comes out and he's sharp and he's fighting focused and he's ready to win a fight and get himself prepared for his next championship run at the 160 weight class. So with that, this will be the co-main event for the Saturday night card, and this is going to be an absolute slugfest if you ever say there's one. And I think that at the end of the day, this one is actually going to be a very, very defining moment for Jermall Charlo. I just really feel that. I know a lot of people are probably doubting him in this spot, but I think Jermall Charlo will feel pretty good when he gets to hit somebody in the face. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and get to the big main event for the weekend, and that's going to be David Benavidez and Boo Boo Andrade going at it for the spot to who's going to fight Canelo in September. Don't you think? I think that's what probably will be the next run. But I don't think David Benavidez would want to take that much time off until September. You know what I mean? But David Benavidez is a monster favorite coming into this fight. Boo Boo Andrade is looking to try to put himself on the world stage as a factor. He's trying to pull a Crawford off somewhat because he's a guy who's been around for years, but he hasn't got the respect that he feels that he deserves. He hasn't been able to get the big fights that he feels that he deserves. He was ducked by Triple G. He was ducked by Canelo. He was ducked by everybody who said that they were a top fighter at 160. He was ducked by guys when they were at 154 as well, too. They say that it's an ugly style, it's an awkward style, it's not a good boxing style. It's a big risk, small reward, all the excuses in the book. But David Benavidez doesn't care about any of that. David Benavidez just wants opponents in the ring so he can display his skills. And you know what? You have to give Mr. Benavidez his props for that. And that's why he's a people's champion. You know what I mean? Because David is never backing down from these fights. He wants all these fights. He's always been a guy that says, go get the paperwork, go get everything set up. But at the end of the day, your promoter is the one that makes the decision, the final decision for you. And that's what happens. There was a lot of speculation that this was going to be the David Morrell fight. And a lot of people did get excited about that fight if it was to occur. I think that after this situation with David Morrell fighting in December, if he's able to be successful, David's able to be successful, this fight could wind up being the co-main event for the next Canelo fight in May. So just think about that. And I think that would be the best bet right there to put those two together, and the winner gets Canelo. It's that simple because Canelo still has unfinished business with the Charlo brothers, the Andrade. That's why he came over to PBC, so these fights can be made easily. You couldn't make these fights over at DAZN. You couldn't make these fights over at Golden Boy because they have their pick of the litter. They want to make sure they put the safest situation in front of Canelo. Canelo wants to take on challenges. And you know what? Him taking on Bivol, a lot of people were like, after the Bivol situation, they wanted him to get a bunch of easy touches. He doesn't want that. He went straight for Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo is the undisputed champion and probably the hottest name on the planet, not named Gervonta Tank Davis, not named Devin Haney. And he was probably the guy that, you go to and say, he could possibly be the best pound for pound right now, the way that he's went about his business, clearing out the 154 division. So that fight made a lot of sense. It made a lot of people be interested in that fight. So everything works out. Now, pretty much when you look at the David Benavidez angle, you know that this is going to be the fight for Mexico. And, the winner will have the Mexican fans behind him for the foreseeable future. So, there's a lot that goes into that fight. That's a big money fight right there between those two. But you still have to build it because David Benavidez is a great fighter. He's a slugger. He's a knockout artist. He's all that good stuff. But he's still not known by most of the nation at this point. But he's starting to get to that point to where it's getting out of just the hardcore and the novice fans to where you have the fans that just are popping in to see a fight. So pretty much this is going to be a big deal on Saturday night. A lot of people are going to different bars, different theaters, and things of that nature to watch this fight. So David Benavidez being built up as a star has been a slow build somewhat, but it's been the right build. So it's going to be a very fun fight. I think that Boo Boo does have the mental edge coming into this because he really has nothing to lose. David Benavidez has everything to lose. This is going to be a great fight. This is going to be a great moment for both of these guys. And I think that they both pretty much have set themselves up for some lucrative 2024s as well, too. So with that, we're going to go ahead and we'll move forward to our commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into the state of the Lakers. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Captain.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So let's go ahead and get into the state of the Lakers. The Lakers had a great effort last night. They absolutely crushed the Utah Jazz. The Lakers now have moved to 4-0 in the play-in in the in-season tournament, and they find themselves as the number 1 seed in the western portion of the bracket. So they have put themselves in position to be one of the dominant, one of the teams that really can possibly move forward and be in Las Vegas at the end of December, in the mid-December, because we're doing this before Christmas. But I know that the Lakers now, they find themselves in good position. And you know what? That's what it was all about. The Lakers took their games very seriously in the tournament situation. And I saw a lot of the teams that you consider the bad teams in the NBA take theirs very personal as well, too, and look at it in an NCAA form. And this idea is working out wonders right now. Now, when you look at the stats for the Lakers last night, Anthony Davis was the man, 29 minutes, 26 points, 16 rebounds last night. He had 5 offensive rebounds as well, 2 with 4 assists. D'Angelo Russell had 20 points last night, 3 of 4 from the three-point stripe. And he was really confident last night. He played confident basketball, and he had 8 assists, and 5 of them were just beautiful. They were some and one dimes. That was just, woo. That boy was bowling last night. And then you had LeBron James, 17 points. 9 assists, 7 rebounds, almost a triple-double last night, and he kept his turnovers down. He only had 2 turnovers last night. Taurean Prince only 4 points. Cam Reddish had a groin injury, so he only played 5 minutes. Rui Hachimura was pretty good off the bench with 12. Christian Wood was probably the best player off the bench last night. He looked really, really good. He looked really confident as well, too. He went 6 of 7. Austin Reeves had 19 points last night as well, too, with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. He is relishing in that bench role. And then you know who stepped it up big time last night, and I really liked the way that he was attacking the rim? Jackson Hayes had 10 points and was 4 of 4 last night. That was pretty good. right there. But once again, I need more rebounds. But Christian Wood did his job, though. He had 8 rebounds last night with his 16 points as well, too. And the Lakers as a group last night had 52 rebounds to 42. I can only go ahead and take that, but they did give up 13 offensive rebounds. That does need to be fixed. They forced 14 turnovers, but they had 13 of their own. They shot 57% from the field, 11 to 29 from 3, and then they also shot 22 to 27 from the free throw line. When you get an effort like this, it's hard to beat you. It's that simple. And the Lakers took advantage of a bad team. That's exactly what they did. The Jazz came in here. They're now losers of their last 3 in a row, and this team is actually right now 3-7 on the month of November as well, too. So, the Lakers took advantage of a wounded duck and did what they had to do to keep it moving. Now they got Dallas tonight. Dallas is coming into this game playing pretty middling basketball, and at this point right now, they've actually dropped their last 2 in a row and their last 3 out of 4. So, they're coming off of a 16-point loss to the Kings at home. And then they did lose by 7 to Milwaukee on the road. So this team is trying to get back in order. And you know what? The Lakers seem like they're not going to be that. It seems like this might be an issue for the Lakers. You're fresh off of a back-to-back situation, but you beat this team by 30 points last night. So you know that pretty much you were able to rest your starters last night. LeBron and AD played no minutes in the fourth quarter last night. That was absolutely something that LeBron was dying for, because LeBron had been really putting in a lot of work the last few games, and he was able to get a break last night, and they were able to still win this game by 32 points. So tonight, I don't think that the back-to-back situation is going to affect the Lakers when it comes to fatigue. I think that more and more it's just going to affect the Lakers a little bit because they're playing against a better team. But I do think the Lakers have it in them to win another back-to-back. The Lakers have only lost 1 game at home as well, too. And so, you know what? Let's just ride that wave. And I think the Lakers do find themselves in a good position tonight. I know a lot of people feel that this will probably be a good Luka night, but I think that the Lakers, the way they played defense last night, they're going to take that into tonight as well too. They played great defense. They made sure they made sure they had their hands up. They made sure they ran out on threes. They made sure that they were collecting the rebounds when they needed to keep the Jazz one and done last night. It was just a really good game, and I think you can transfer that into tonight's game because that was a chemistry builder last night, and now you got some confidence with everybody in the group. So with that, that's going to be a wrap on the state of the Lakers. Let's go ahead and get into NBA's Wednesday games. And up first, we have ourselves the Nuggets and the Magic. The Nuggets and the Magic. This is probably the best interconference game that we got going today. You have a Nuggets team coming in here 10-4. You have a Magic team coming in here 9-5. Magic are really on a mission this year. This team is really trying to figure out a way to win this Southeast division. They're not trying to just make the playoffs. They're trying to win their division. Now, this team has won their last 4 out of 5. The Nuggets have lost their last 3 out of 5. Nuggets fresh up a 4-point win over a lowly Detroit team, while the Magic last night beat the Raptors 126-107. When I look at how this game is setting up, you have a Magic team that's really playing some great basketball right now. They've won their last 4 in a row, and they've won their last 5 out of 6 after starting the month 2-2. So that means that this team right now is going to be 7-3. So pretty much for the month. So that's that. They're riding a hot hand right now. The Nuggets are struggling without their second in command, and that's going to be Jermall Murray. They lost their last 3 out of 5, as already said, but they did get a good win the other night. This will be the second of their last road game coming up, and then they'll be back at home on Sunday. So pretty much they're trying to figure out how they can go ahead and just sheet out this situation, because it's Orlando, Houston, and I truly do think that this game tonight is going to be one that they fall short in, because Orlando is going to play up to the moment for their great home fans who are going to be very adamant about a win tonight because it's going to be Thanksgiving tomorrow. And, they got a lot of good mojo going with this group. So why not? You know what I mean? So let's ride that 4 in a row right now. They're going to be a plus 145 doggy dog tonight. So why not? Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our next, which is going to be the Bucks and the Celtics. This is a possible preview of the Eastern Conference Finals or the second round of the Eastern Conference. You never know. You know what I mean? These teams can look like they're going to be a top 2, a top 3 seed, but then they wind up being a 4 or a 5. So you have a Bucks team that's trying to get themselves a little bit more further along, but they've done well. They've won their last 5 in a row after starting the month 3-3. So they've won their last 5 in a row. They're looking pretty good. The Celtics come into this one. Winners had won 6 in a row and then dropped a game against Charlotte. But all in all, this month they're 8-3. So a lot of people can sit here and talk and get mad about things, but the thing is, the Celtics are playing great basketball right now, and they're at home tonight. So this game they're highly favored in. They've even bumped up to 5.5 as well too. The 4.5 opening line is non-existent right now. So when you look at this game, you say to yourself, great matchup tonight. It's going to be on ESPN. It's going to have a lot of eyes on it as well too. Giannis versus Tatum. Drew Holiday versus former team. Jaylen Brown versus Damian Lillard. It's going to be a lot of fun. So where am I going with this one tonight? I'm going to take the Bucks with the plus 5.5 tonight. I think the Bucks are going to be right here in the thick of things, and it's an ESPN game, so they're going to make it really, really close. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves up next, which is going to be the Cavs game. The Cavs and the Heat. The Heat coming to this game 9-5. The Cavs coming into this game 8-6. Cavs are a 2.5-point dog tonight with the 210.5 over under. So, okay, you have a Miami team that had won 7 in a row and dropped the game to the Bulls and won again. So that means this team has actually won their last. This team has actually won their last 8 out of 9, and they're 8-2 for this month. So they're playing pretty good basketball. They picked up right where they needed to because they were struggling a little bit to start the season off. But you know what? It didn't matter. They got everything together. Now they're sitting pretty and ready to move forward and get themselves to the end goal, which is the Southeast title. But you got to take it one game at a time, right? So tonight they play the Cavs team that's now figured it out. They were struggling mightily. Now they've won their last 4 in a row. This team started the month 3-3. Now they're playing lights out basketball. This team went from being 4-6 to now 8-6. So that just goes to show you how good this team can be and wants to be. So when you look at this game tonight, you really say to yourself, I expect defense here. Both these teams are playing some of the best basketball in the NBA right now. So I truly do feel the defense will be at a high premium tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under 211.5 because it's jumped to 211.5. And pretty much let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be this one, which is going to be the Wolves and the 76ers. And an update on this game as well, too. Joel Embiid is going to be out. So the 4.5-point spread actually has jumped up to 6.5. Probably will be at about a 7.5 by the time we get to tip. You have a 76ers team that is right now 10-4 on the season. You have a Wolves team that's undefeated at home still, and they are 10-3 on the season. So when you look at the Warriors' schedule, the Warriors have lost 1 game this month, and that 1 game was against the Suns in Phoenix. The rest of these games, they pretty much went ahead and had a good time in these games. So when I'm looking at it now, this team is 9-1, so that means that they've won their last 9 out of 10. And this team is also undefeated at home. They're right now at home 6-0. So pretty much they have 2 more games here. They got Philadelphia tonight. They got Sacramento on Friday. So they have tough games this week, but it's a tough place to win at as well, too. So, the Wolves have that working in their favor. I think tonight will be one of those nights that they really, really look good in because they don't have to deal with Embiid tonight. And you're dealing with the 76ers team that has dropped their last 3 out of 5 as well, too, after starting the month 6-0. So, you know what? They're desperate somewhat, but they don't have their best players. So the Wolves win this one by double digits. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. So we move forward, and what do we have up next? We have ourselves the Suns and the Warriors. The Suns coming into this game 8-6, the Warriors 7-8. The Warriors trying to get back into the flow of things after really dealing with a pretty bad stretch there. They had lost 6 in a row, and then they finally snapped that streak on Monday night against Houston, and now they're trying to go ahead and get all the way right, but it looks like their month is kind of tough here at the end. You got Phoenix tonight, then you got San Antonio at home on Friday, and then you have Sacramento on Tuesday, and you have the Clippers on Thursday. So this team is trying to figure out exactly what they are. And you know what? Friday is going to be a tournament game as well, too. So that's something that they're dealing with as well. So I truly do think that when it comes down to it, this Warriors team has to be better here at the end of the month. Now, Phoenix, they're finally getting their thing together. They've won their last 4 in a row. They started the month 2-4, but they've won their last 4 in a row to now push them to 6-4 on the month. They have Golden State tonight. Then they are on the road for the next to end the month with Memphis, New York, and Toronto. So this game tonight with Golden State is very pivotal towards the long-term effective things, but I truly do think that when you look at this spot, you look at this situation, you have a team that really hasn't really played together in full yet. And once they do for a consistent amount of time, I will say this, that their team will probably be at the top of the Western Conference. So with that, tonight, this game, I'm looking at scoreboard, and when it comes down to the scoreboard, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this game with the over 231.5 tonight. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take our last commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to jump into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into the final segment of the show, and it's your favorite subject, my favorite subject, and that's going to be Talking Tickets. So up first, let's go ahead and jump into the CBB PrimeTime PK6 of the day. 72-1, 9.5 on Cincy, plus 7.5 on Pepperdine. Riverside, plus 120, plus 7.5 Rice. UTEP, money line, plus 165. And the 5.5 to Tulane in the nightcap tonight as well, too. So this is going to be a 72-1 ticket. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we have the NBA Super High Five, which is going to be 30-1 tonight. I got the Magic as our dog of the day. We did hit it last night with Indiana winning 157 to 152. We hit it at plus 140, so hopefully we can get the back-to-back tonight. Also, we have the under 211 with the Heat and the Cavs tonight. We got the plus 5.5 with the Bucks, and then we also have the 6.5 with the Wolves, and then we finish up with the over 231.5 with the Warriors and the Suns. That's going to be a 30-1 ticket. That's going to be our NBA Super High Five. I move forward from there. All right, we have the Packers and the Lions and the bets here. We're going to be Packers money line plus 295, the over 23.5 minus 105, the Packers plus 180, the Lions under 27.5 team total minus 105, and that's going to be Packers and the Lions bets. And then we have ourselves the Commanders Cowboys bets, the 12.5 to the Cowboys, the plus 7.5 to the Commanders first half, and then the under 9.5 first quarter. And then we have the Cowboys plus 113.5 alternate line. And then we have our finale for the Thanksgiving Day games tomorrow with the 49ers and Seahawks bets. We have the Seahawks plus 7. We have the under 22 first half, the minus 1.5 49ers the first quarter. Then we have Seattle trying to get us 20 points tomorrow. That's all we need to hit the plus for 115. And there it goes, over 19.5. And there it is. And that's going to be our bets for the Thanksgiving games tomorrow and our hoop bets for today. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much. And you guys already know no show tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? It's Thanksgiving, goddammit. So pretty much I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. You guys be on the lookout for my bets, though, as well, too. I'll have some more bets up tomorrow because we got plenty of college basketball to go through as well, but I'm just waiting for these games to be final so then I can set up tomorrow's tournaments and tomorrow's tournament championships as well, too. So you guys be on the lookout on the Twitter for that and on Instagram as well, too, and on Facebook. So pretty much thank you guys very much one last time for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. And if you did not get to watch the show live, make sure that you replay the show, you share the show, you tweet the show, you do what you got to do. Let's get the numbers up. And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Because this is some great content. This is some great information. And you want to make sure that the rest of the world knows it as well, too. So with that, thank you so much. You guys are the absolute best. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. And one last time, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your Friday. I'll be back for Black Friday, though, for sure. So enjoy your day, y'all. Enjoy today, tomorrow, the whole weekend. You guys are the absolute best, and I look forward to seeing you Friday at 11 a.m. So with that, we are gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media